last week's video blog, I took a look at the colossal industrial heritage of the RMK Marine shipyard in Tuzla, Istanbul in Turkey. At the end of the video, I showed two particularly interesting projects that the shipyard has underway, and while I was there, I took a close look at both of them. So here is my report. Back to you.
Visitors to the RMK Marine facility can actually see this huge vessel in construction, as the hull is already completed, along with some of the superstructure. Naturally, at this phase of the construction, a potential buyer can still tailor the yacht to his requirements. The yard, in fact, would rather wait for a buyer before they proceed much further for exactly that reason. The shipyard has been very smart in this respect, completing most of the engineering for the yacht, but also preparing alternative layouts, and even a longer 62-metre version of the same with a more conventional bow. Clearly the yacht has a very dominant profile, and with a gross registered tonnage of 1,365, it's fair to say that the interior volume is comparable with far larger yachts. Each of the 5 decks is tied together by a central elevator, and the owner of the yacht benefits from his own private deck with magnificent views of his surroundings, plenty of wardrobe space, and separate his and hers bathrooms. Actually, all of the 7 staterooms that are foreseen on this yacht can have king-sized beds and plenty of storage space, apart from private bathrooms, of course. The abundance of space available is one of the strongest selling points of this yacht. The space is not limited to just the inside though, as the deck space on the RMK 58-metre is quite impressive too. As you can see from the profile of the yacht, the superstructure is mostly pushed forward towards the bow area, giving the vessel an aggressive look, almost like it's leaping forward out of the sea. The result of this distribution of space, though, is that the aft decks are far larger on this yacht than on any other vessel of its size. The 2 upper aft decks are really designed for loose furniture, and as such you can decide for yourself where you would like to position your dining area, sunbathing mattresses, or whether you want a large barbecue, a wet bar, a shower, and all those great things that make your yacht your yacht. The main aft deck does have one fixed feature though, and it's a feature that whoever buys this yacht is bound to love and to use extensively. That's this wonderful swimming pool. You can really see how appealing this must be to a yacht owner, as it allows easy access from the swimming pool into the sea. Plenty of space for hanging around the pool. This is what life on a super yacht should be all about.
Now, as a yacht broker, I get a lot of projects and designs presented to me all the time by different shipyards and different designers. It's a whole different thing when you actually go to the yard and see that it's a physical object in production with a workforce and an engineering department developing the project, and it's not just in the head of a designer. And talking of designers, it's worth mentioning that this particular project was developed by the Italian design company YACHT, who've been mentioned many times in my YouTube channel before. Now, the relationship between RMK and YACHT goes back quite some time and has already been very successful. When RMK had to do the extensive refit of a yacht called Keeler, they brought YACHT in on the design work, and it's worth mentioning that in next week's video we'll be taking a good look at that yacht, but the results were so successful that it actually won the World Showboats Award for the best refit of that year. And the 58-metre Explorer is not the only project that's ongoing between those two companies, although it's the only one that they've cut steel for at the moment. There's also a very interesting, slightly smaller Explorer yacht project called the RMK 5000 Evo.
This is a project that RMK are very excited about, and it's easy to see why. The YACHT design influence can easily be spotted, and she sports a similar styling and a similar philosophy as her larger sibling. This really is a go-anywhere yacht with a 4,000 nautical mile range and a great deal of thought given to her layout. For me, this yacht has a slightly more military styling than the 58-metre, but once again the superstructure is focused on the forward area, leaving huge expanses of open deck space aft. Just look at this main deck aft, with a sizable plunge pool and plenty of space for sunbathing. relaxing or dining. The upper deck too is absolutely huge, giving the owner options on where to dine and plenty of possibilities to entertain sizable parties if so desired. Something that the 50-metre yacht has though, and the 58-metre does not have, is a full open sun deck. This is a real plus for the design of this yacht, and I believe will make it very popular indeed. The vessel is conceived to have 6 staterooms, including a huge master stateroom on the main deck, benefiting from this huge window that you can see.
So exciting times ahead for RMK Marine as they have one large super yacht in build and another one in development. Personally, I think that the choice of making both of those yachts Explorer Yachts is a very wise one, even though RMK do have an excellent history behind them of some very refined sailing yachts such as the Oysters that we looked at in last week's video. Nonetheless, I think there's something very strong about being able to go to a shipyard and see these huge, meaty commercial ships being built and to know that your Explorer yacht shares the same DNA with them. That's a very powerful calling card. Next week in the final video covering RMK, we'll be looking at the refit facilities that they offer. It's not unusual when a yacht gets to a certain age that the owner will want to renew systems on board, repaint the yacht, sometimes even completely change the interior. You'll be surprised at how many yachts pass through RMK to do just that, and what an extensive work that they do. So make sure you don't miss out on that great content by subscribing to my channel.